People love to look at homes online, regardless if they're in the market to buy or not. But what if you're more serious about buying a property? Maybe you're outside of the Florida and you're thinking about making this really important purchase from hundreds or even thousands of miles away. And maybe you're already here in Florida and you need a bigger home, downsize, or just need to be closer to your grandkids or to work. I'm here to help to give you the best tips on starting your look online at homes. Hi, I'm Jill Thomas with Berkshire Hathaway, HomeServices, Florida Realty. There aren't too many people I don't know who don't enjoy looking at homes online. I have friends and relatives who are not in the market to make a move, but they're always looking. So regardless if you're serious about your search or you just consider it a hobby, here are 4 of the best tips to keep in mind. Number 1, what is great about third-party websites? Third-party websites are websites like Zillow and Realtor.com, and they're a great place to start to look. They allow for a lot of pictures and videos to be uploaded. Now, the multiple listing service, or the MLS, feeds all of their listings into these websites, and it's the MLS systems from all over the United States. So then once a property is entered in the MLS, then it's going to show up on these other sites. So that's really great because you can look at anything from anywhere. Now, tip number 2, what's not so great about the third-party websites? Now, other properties not on the market may be on these third-party websites, again, like Zillow and Realtor.com. So as a result, they're not always accurate. Sellers can post listings on some of these sites, and once the property is no longer available for sale, or if it does sell, then the listing doesn't always come down, or doesn't come down in a timely fashion. Another huge issue is if an owner isn't making mortgage payments, then these third-party websites will attach that information to the property, because once a person stops making payments and the foreclosure process is started, it's a matter of public records. So that's how they get the information. But the way it's written on some of these sites is it gives the appearance that the property has been foreclosed on and it's available for sale. And then on top of that, if the website has an automated valuation on the property, then a lot of times consumers will think that's the list price of the property. So as a result of all that, it's not uncommon for me to get phone calls from buyers asking about a place that they think they're going to get a great deal on. So then I have to explain all of this to them, that the property still belongs to the owner, and that's not the price of the property. It's not even available for sale. And it can be really confusing to folks. So when you do these website searches online, please know that these third-party websites aren't always accurate. I'm going to give you a story. I knew a really sweet couple who owned a home on St. Armand Circle. Well, something happened with the bank and they messed up their mortgage, and it made it appear that the foreclosure process had started. In fact, these buyers had to get an attorney involved to get it all straightened out, and it was a big mess. So of course, these third-party websites made it appear that the property had been foreclosed on, and then the automated valuation on the property was like a third of what the true market value was. So I got phone calls from people from all over the country asking about this property. They wanted to buy it. They were willing to spend more than what it was listed at. And I had to explain all this to them. And then even sometimes these buyers got pretty aggressive. They wanted to call the bank. They wanted to call the sellers directly. Or not even the sellers, they were just the owners, because the property wasn't for sale. And those homeowners were so embarrassed. It was a terrible situation. So long story short, these websites are not always accurate. So just keep that in mind. Okay, now tip number 3, suppose you want to take your search to the next level. So if you're looking to buy, or you just want to monitor a certain neighborhood, maybe even just where you live, I love to do that, then give me a call. The MLS system, the multiple listing service I have, is awesome. Now I can set you up on a search for just the neighborhood where you live, like I just mentioned, or a number of different searches based on the criteria if you are looking to buy. And I can separate out these searches based on the location, the style of property, like house versus condo, and anything else that's really important to you. So then with our MLS system, you're going to get an email update on the property right away, and you're going to know that the information is accurate. Another great feature is the ability to organize these properties from within the system. You can mark the properties as a favorite or a possibility, and then just delete those that you don't like. And this method is just awesome, because now imagine if I set you up on 5 different searches. Well, by doing that, any of the properties you mark as a favorite are all going to fall under one tab that just says favorites, or then like your possibilities. And that way you don't have to go back into each grouping of those 5 different searches, scroll through, try to find the ones you like, take down notes, keep track of all of it. It's kept track of all within the system. And in addition to that, I see everything that you mark as your favorite possibility, or then what you delete and you don't like. Tip number 4, you can change your mind. After I set people up on searches, they usually keep looking on those other websites, which again, totally fine. Now let's say you see something I didn't send to you and you have interest in it, then send it to me. You can either text or email me the address. Sometimes people will say, well, why didn't you send that to me in the first place? How did you miss it? Well, it could be that the property falls outside some of the criteria you gave me. This usually happens when the square footage of the structure or the land is a little more or less than what you asked for, or sometimes what appears to be a house really might be considered a condominium, like a maintenance-free home, and so that's why you didn't get it in the first place. So just throw those back at me and say, okay, Jill, let's talk about this property, and then of course I can always tweak the settings I have set up on your searches. And then, like I said before, you might find a property that appears to be on the market, but it really isn't. So remember, these sites aren't always accurate. And then, of course, throughout the process, you might discover that your preferences change. And actually, this is super common. I'm usually surprised if they don't change. So as you keep looking, you find something else that catches your eye. Just know that's okay. Don't feel bad saying, Jill, you know what? I think we're leaning more towards condos and houses. I decide I only want a ranch home. No, I'm okay with a 2-story house. All those things can change, and that's quite all right. So just please communicate that to me, and then we can explore something different. The internet is so great because you can research and learn independently, and I love that. That's part of the reason why I make these videos for you, all of you, is so you can do some research on your own. But as you get more serious in your searches and research, let me know. If there's something I can help you with, I will. And if I can't, I'm going to connect you with a pro in that arena. So just don't rely on the internet. Let's rely on the pros. Now leave a comment below about your experience with looking at homes online. And if you're on Facebook or YouTube, after you like or subscribe, please be sure to hit that notification bell. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Jill Thomas with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Florida Realty.